Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Bhagavan concluded this topic by saying that whether it is a sannyasi or whether it is a realized master who is doing action in this world, or a sadhaka doing action in this world, but does it in the spirit of yajna, then all their results of actions and naturally desires and then actions all get dissolved. This word yajna, which is there in the Veda, one translation of yajna is worship. But worship, when we understand, we just understand some elaborate ritual adoring some unknown god. Even yajna, it says yajnavai Vishnuhu. The all-pervading truth, reality is also called as yajna. So one with the longest stride means all-pervading is Vishnu, means the Lord. So in the Vedas, we have the yajna, and yajna was nitya karma that has to be done. Yajna is dharma, which means it points out the right way of doing action. All these various meaning of yajna is there. Even when we have got desire, even desire prompted activities, when done according to the guidelines of the scriptures, they help you to attain the object of your desire, however impossible it may be. But such desire prompted yajnas, worship, gives you the desired result, but at the same time keeps you in the boundaries of dharma. Yajna, when done with a purpose or a desire, even desire for heaven, yields the most difficult, or what we say as impossible, goals or objects of desire. However, the Vedas themselves said that when these yajnas are done with nishkama bhavana. And what is nishkama bhavana? Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Just as we find in the Ramayana, the rishis doing just outside Ayodhya, and it is these yajnas that these rakshasas were trying to destroy. Why? Because yajna, which is dharma, yajna, even in trying to achieve the object of your desire, gives you a methodology of discipline, of self-restraint, of recognizing divine presence, divine grace, all these is achieved through yajna. And wherever people are performing such yajna, the sensuous, the greedy, don't think Rakshasas as demons, as they picture them, the teeth coming out, ferocious looking, red head. You see that, yellow head, red head, blue hair, purple hair, kind of. They're not that kind of creatures. Highly materialistic, and because greedy, diabolic, and they cannot allow yajna. They don't allow values in society. Today you are seeing what's going on in the name of education. For mere commercialism, values are not taught, because where there is values, there is strength. Yeah? And such people who have got strength in values, they are ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. And in such place, such people cannot rule like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, a Hitler. They can't rule in such places. So they thrive on the weaknesses of the people. Don't think that, that time these yajnas, the Rakshasa came, the rishis were panicking. It's happening to all of you now. Shri Krishna has taken that word yajna, and what is that what you call as worship? It is the acknowledgement that whatever we receive, whatever we have, is from the devatas, ultimately from the one Ishvara. And in this knowledge that, there is one Ishvara, I only worship that God, and the whole of nature, including our own parents, teachers, we receive from. That's why in our Hindu culture, Vedic culture, we worship the devatas. Devatas, as I have explained, that each and everything in nature is giving us. Earth gives its fertility, plants grow, they give their fruits. For whom? For us. The earthworm aerates the land. So from a worm to the birds, to the butterflies and the bees, whatever you have, even fruits to eat, is because of nature. This is called as devatas. And if we do not acknowledge in these things, and just, there's some God sitting up there, my God, your God. That's why we don't have many gods, many devatas, deities of the various cosmic forces like air, wind, fire, earth. These are the devatas. So, in the yajna, fire is the symbol or the means to communicate to or to consume your offering, to communicate to the devata. So that whole so-called karma, or today we call it as ritual, and it's not a derogatory word, brushing your teeth every day for others not to suffer, is a ritual. Worship is not a ritual. Worship is adoration. But when we practice it daily, regularly, it is a ritual. And it should be practiced as a ritual so that you don't forget to do it. Today, you get up in the morning, good morning, darling. You better do it. it's a ritual. Because one day you forget it, you know what hell breaks loose. No? So, yajna translated as ritual, no, and all that, and the mischief that has been played with our culture, but yajna means adoration. And therefore, these 4 factors, and I'm putting it in very simple terms. Yeah? Gratitude, which is acknowledgement that whatever I have received from God, devatas, devatas means what we visible, the visible expression of the benevolence of God, they are called as devatas. Then in the yajna, there's an altar of worship, altar of adoration, altar of gratitude. No? And only when we are grateful do we adore. Others, what did I get, So, gratitude, to say, I thank you very much, Bhagwan. Gratitude should be expressed through offering. Offering is not only what I have received in abundance, but even through my various actions. So there is offering. Then, when the result that is left from it, there is acceptance. Again, in acceptance, there's an acknowledgement. There is acceptance. Yeah. Fourth is sharing. Yeah. These 4 elements go to make a yajna. Today, in psychology, modern, well-being courses, gratitude journal, this and that, but this is what is there in a yajna. And in the yajna, whenever you made an offering, whenever you made an offering that I am grateful to Indra for the rains and because of the crops, etc., timely rains. So, Indraya Swaha, I offer, but added to it is Idam na mama. This which I am giving and offering, what you say in the Aarti, Tera Tujhko Arpan. Now you realize what Krishna has done in the name of Karma Yoga? Yeah? And even when you are doing it for some desire, you are being taught idam na mama. Nothing is mine alone. Then only we are able to share. Then only there is prosperity in society, because each one can only do what they can do. Each one can bring their offering. This is called as teamwork, cooperation, cooperative spirit. This is what a corporation should be. So you see Gurudev's commentary in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where he explains yajna, is that when a group of people get together, each one bringing what they have produced and their talent, and work towards a common goal and altar without ego and egocentric, selfish desire for the well-being of the team, not only there is great productivity, and that productivity is shared, and therefore everybody benefits, and in that sharing there is further harmony, inspiration, contribution, and growth. Yeah. And therefore, in that word yajna, the entire spirit of what is called as karma yoga has been explained. And therefore, whosoever's action is done as an offering to the Lord, and Lord not some individual sitting up there, but the totality, in the spirit of this is not mine, tera tujhko arpan. So without doership as well as the sense of, and here doership relatively given up, that I am not alone the doer. As a sadhaka, this way, how can I give up doership without knowledge? That doership that I did not alone produce, and whatever I have is not my only doing. That way we eliminate our doership. Then we begin to recognize that really speaking, it is through us it's being done. We are just an instrument. And then we have the knowledge of that which remains ever steady, a non-doer, the Atma. Now you understand what this whole yajna means. And therefore, whose ever work, whether a realized master is working in this world only for the welfare of everybody, and even in that he has got no attachment. Because he is doing in the spirit of dedication, in the spirit of yajna. When a sadhaka also is doing in a spirit of yajna, does not get bound, how can a realized master doing mere bodily action without ego and egocentric, selfish desire, and therefore sankalpa, vikalpa, without any mental agitations, how can such a person be tainted? How can such a person have any reaction, and therefore remains ever in equanimity in the midst of the highest productivity in this world? Best example is Krishna himself, great saints and sages, our own Gurudev. So such people do not get bound. And even sadhakas who do their actions as a dedication to the Lord for the well-being of everybody, without the notion that I am the one doing it alone, and acknowledges, is grateful, makes whatever you have as an offering from your abundance. Because what you need for your life, as prasad, you received. There is acceptance of the result. And the most important thing is prasad is shared. This is what makes as a yajna. And for those sadhakas who live in this spirit, their karma phalas, that is vasanas, from the standpoint as a result of action, it is called as karma phala. And that's why we say karma, destiny, etc. And from the standpoint of the cause of desire, we call it as vasanas. We're clarifying all these terms that we've been hearing, but sometimes we've got only part meanings of them. All their karmas come to an end. Now the question here is about the person who has realized that I am the akarta Atma. Such a person need not do anything. Right? But still we find such great masters according to the requirement of the time. Yes, some became silent, sat in the meditation and merged. We don't even know about them. But those whom we call as Nitya avatars of Bhagwan, for Loka Sangraha, and in that for them everything is Atma, the self, and which Atma? Which is infinite. There are no two Atmas, but Atma is infinite, that's why it's called as Brahman. Brahman, truth, reality, infinite cause of this universe, in Sanskrit is called as Brahma. Neuter gender, therefore Brahman. Otherwise not Brahmaji, the creator. I add G so that you don't confuse that, no? So in Sanskrit, the Vedas point out that that substratum of this entire universe, which is Sat, Chit, Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Because of whose presence the entire universe is seen like a mirage or as silver in the shell or mother of pearl, that infinite Brahman only from which everything has manifested, so have we. How can we be separate from it? Yeah? So one who recognizes this inactive consciousness, because of which all activity, all creation is possible, for such a person, there is no someone he is doing for. He is not someone who is doing or offering something else. And therefore, the highest yajna, which is self-realization, or that which you call as Jnana Yoga. So, one who has in the fire of knowledge burnt down all ignorance and ignorance-born ego, sense of being separate, distinctions and duality, for that person there is no bondage. There cannot be any bondage. And that yajna, because the language used was yajna, so taking the metaphor of a yajna, where there is an altar of worship, the fire, there is an offering put into the fire, there is an offerer who puts in the fire, and all that is then consumed by fire. So this whole thing as a fire karma, or as we translate, worship. Later on, and it was there even in Vedic times, but it was Ved Vyasa where fire would not be that conducive inside homes as Kali Yuga population increased, then gave us what we call as Murti Puja. So today what we do as puja, like Paduka Puja, we have a symbol in which we do the offering. But in the fire it is consumed. Here the offering we consume. And the fire also very little is offered, then everything becomes Yajna Shishta or Prasad. And Prasad is without any inhibitions, without any greed, is distributed to whoever is there to receive it. See, this is what is called as yajna. Now, very famous verse which all of you chant during the meals. And why during the meals? I'll just briefly explain it. But here it comes from the Bhagavad Gita.
Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi Brahmagnau brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina.
So if there is a question, how come all the actions as well as their results get dissolved in such a person who has got knowledge, not just academic or information knowledge, but who has realized the truth, the Atma? Here he gives in the language of Yajna, Brahma Arpanam. For him, everything is Brahman only. There he sees only Brahman. You see as, there's a ladle, there are instruments of offering, there is an altar of worship. All these things, what you see as different things, he sees only Brahman. And if you want to know what that vision is, read the autobiography of Swami Taponji Maharaj, Ishwar Darshan. Just read it. Don't even study it, just read it and see how you're transported to the vision of such a master who in everywhere sees only Brahman. So Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi. Brahman alone is the ghee, the fuel, that ghee is there. Brahmagnav, the fire. Brahmanahutam, that which is offered in the fire. Brahmeva tena gantavyam. And since he sees only Brahman, not any of these different things, instruments of actions, or in the larger sense, or someone to whom it is offered, and an offering that you have gained. Yeah. So what is the result that person gets? If the offering itself is Brahman, that by which it is offered is Brahman, the one whose offering is Brahman, then what prasad comes? The result comes. Is it heaven? Heaven is also Brahman. So, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. One reaches Brahman only, not reaches, there is a journey, but remains in abiding in Brahman only, even in midst of all the activities. He who sees Brahman in all, Brahma karma samadhina. One who is absorbed in the action which is also Brahman only. Means one who is absorbed in Brahman, for him every action is also Brahman. No? And therefore any result of action is also Brahman, infinite, and therefore is never bound. When I went to, right after my study at Sandipani, Gurudev gave us various places where we could go and do our seva. So I went to Hong Kong. Gurudev sent me to Hong Kong. I'd come from there, so he sent me back to Hong Kong. And after 5 years of inspiring people, etc., when we built the center, I thought, especially when the day, when Ganesh Utsav happens, Ganesh Chaturthi came, so I said we should also have Ganesha, and 9 days, we will have Aarti, Puja, and all that. So now, Hong Kong people, they were very inspired those 5 years. They would come also, but 10 days, Ganesh Chaturthi onwards, to do that and then all that, because they are actually very busy. And they are. Busy doing what? That's another story, but they are busy. Yeah. Excuse is always duties, but duties means even parties. That is also duty, right? So everything, so they decided that, that no, Swamiji, let's not do it, too many festivals, etc. But we from Bombay were used to it, so I said, okay. They did not order one Ganesh ji from India. So that's the beauty of our Ganesh ji also, that you can out of any clay, just give a trunk, give 2 years. And that's why when we have our youth camp, teenage camp, children camp, we make them make Ganesh ji. Our God, you don't have to, you go break temple, whatever you want. We can make our God anywhere. However, so I made out of clay, I made this own Ganeshji, but when you make it, ideally it was most handsome Ganeshji, Yeah. Sometimes few people would come and do, we have coming for blessing and all that, but every day I did puja. Nobody would bring anything but nuts, so everybody brings, what else? Nuts will bring nuts, right? Yeah. So, okay, nuts everybody bring. So, I would offer that because I don't know how to cook or any such thing. So, I would offer nuts. And when people would come, I would give them prasad. Nobody came, I ate it. No? So, like that, every day, lit incense. Now, you've been taught how to do puja, Yeah. So, I did all the puja and everything, Tera Tuchko Arpan. Every nuts that came was offered to Ganeshji in those 10 days. Yeah. Distributed as prasad whenever somebody came. And then last day was the Ganesh Visarjan. That also how significant it is. That from the infinite, for our worship, we conceive of the infinite in one of the forms of the universe, which is also his forms only. But eventually, it has to merge into the formless. So I told people, let us go for Visarjan. So nobody came that day because some wedding was there, so nobody came that day. So I said, I'll do it myself. But there you can't even go. And ocean is, it's an island, so ocean is on all four sides. But you can't go and put anything in the ocean, So, after doing all the puja, offering, that day I tried to make seera also. I'd learned the recipe from Guruji. So, I did make it, and I must say, in the end, Ganeshji though ate it, but I also got to eat. It was not bad at all, Now, don't tell me to make it for you because Guruji makes it better, right? Now, don't go and tell Guruji, make us for a seera. So, all the incense, the lamp, the water, the offerings, everything, I did it properly. Yeah, every day maybe those short puja that you have learnt. Yeah, but that day full Shodashopachar puja with the mantras, etc., with the books in my hand. I did it alone. I did that all puja elaborately, and after it was done, now I had to go for Visarjan. So I took that Ganeshji, and of course I put a shawl over it where people will watch, the Chinese. What is he carrying, So I carried it, went near the ocean. It's a harbor, so it's not a beach. It's a harbor. But there are certain places, jetties where, some wala they used to call it before, used to come. So there are these jetties, but now they are chained. So I looked around, there was no police. So I climbed over the chain. I mean, only when you climb over the chains of your vasanas can you reach the formless. Is it not? So I crossed the chain also, went down the steps, but not like nowadays, we just throw Ganeshji into the water. Yeah? You have to take Ganeshji into the water and immerse. It's immersion, not throwing in the water. So all those properly as we do. I went. Then the steps go deep because tides go up and down. So I said, let me take it into the water. So I tied my dhoti Kerala style. One hand Ganeshji, one hand tucked it. Yeah. And then I stepped into the waters. And there was moss. And along with Ganeshji, I went into And I said, Ganesh, I've come to do your Visarjan. Not mine. Not yet. I have to do seva. And just when Ganeshji took me along with him. That's why we say, yeah, Ganpati Bappa, Purcha Varshi, you come back, Yeah, you come back. We don't say, take me with you. But he was actually taking me with him, You'd be so much happier, no? They wouldn't be sitting here listening to these discourses. Yeah? And I went straight into the water. Then what happened? I woke up in my bed. Yeah? Of course, in that fear perspiring, so I was all wet. Yeah? But not that somebody saved me and brought me and put in the bed. I was dreaming. When I woke up from my dream, that Ganeshji, that offerings to Ganeshji, the incense, the lamps, and the Naivedyam, etc., including the ocean, and the prasad. When I wake up, what were they? I alone, there in the dream was Ganeshji. I alone was the offering. I alone was the result that was get prasad, and I alone was being taken into the waters which were also me only. Yeah? But when I see it as water, I'm afraid it will drown me. But when I wake up and know that water was also me only. Now also when you talk about merging with God, no, that'll be nothing. Yeah? No, you'll become everything. This is called as Brahma Yajna. This is the yajna of a realized master who sees Brahman everywhere. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.